What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And I have a big list today. So, after the rally that we saw on Friday, I think bulls have recharged, and I think the market is ready to, start moving higher. Yes, volatility, I think it will still be there, but I think there are so many stocks. Like, just look at the list that I have today. So I think there will be lots of action for us to track. So let's quickly get started. The first thing that I'll do is I'll just go to the last day's watch list and just look at the names, like look at what the stocks have done. So Bajaj Projects, upper circuit 10%, Motilal Oswal we spoke about, moving up 7%, Bayer Crop Sciences, Linde India, um, Giant Agro, KPR Mills, Rallis. I think Rallis is even set up for tomorrow as well. So I will just add this to the list. So I mean, decent action, but again, the markets were kind of unpredictable because we opened gapped lower. But let's see. What is in store for us for tomorrow? So first up is Utkarsh. Now again, I'll just add Rallis over here, and then I'll begin. So now Utkarsh is setting up really nicely. There are a bunch of other small finance banks which are setting up just like Utkarsh, and Utkarsh has been struggling to kind of move higher. So the stock did create like a faulty base kind of a structure, comes back down over here, and now this is what we expect Utkarsh to do. So wonderful action, was up 4.5%, and let's see what happens tomorrow because there's so much room for it to move. The only supply left is this area. So I think there's going to be lots of action. Next up is Inox Wind, and again Inox Wind Energy Limited, IWEL, another name from the Inox group, setting up exactly the same. So I think Inox Wind is going to be on my radar, although a very extended stock, but I think could be interesting to see. I think one of the hottest stocks in the list has to be Saurashtra Cement. I think we've been talking about this stock for multiple times. This is an IPO base, and we've seen how powerful these IPO bases are. We've seen the likes of a bunch of stocks that did really well. eMudra, did something extremely good. Mankind did well. We also saw one engineering stock, forgot the name, I think Jash Engineering or Azad Engineering, sorry. So that also did really well. So I think this is a similar setup, and I think this is ready to explode. Although the stock has moved about 21% in the last 4 or 5 trading sessions, but it's going to be interesting to see on how this plays out. Next up is Make Money Organics. Now we've been speaking about specialty chemicals for the entire month, I think, and I think Make Money is ready to kind of start spiking higher. So this is a very good name. Birla Money, Adi Birla Money, another very good structure and another very good setup. I think ready to explode. Nuvoco, another cement stock. So we've seen Saurashtra Cement in this list. So just be careful, like just be cautious and be attentive to see. Nuvoco, another construction material cement name, setting up really well around important areas of demand. So I think this is also going to be really interesting to see. Next up is Khaitan Chemicals and Fertilizers. Not exactly the greatest one due to the VIX, but I will still see the chemical sector to play out. Tejo Engineering, again, I think I'm just waiting for this to start blasting. Escorts has completed its entire base formation. I think this could be an interesting name. ITD Cementation, again an engineering construction name, moving really nicely, and it has reached its highs again. This supply is going to be a problem, but again, we'll see how this plays out. Hindustan Copper, for a continuation play, metals have been shining bright, and I think Hindustan Copper could again have some good action. DCM Novel, I think this is another name which could be interesting from the textile pack, has been moving higher, and I think this is a good area from where it can start another launch because of the volumes that I've seen drying up in this base. I think there could be some spectacular action happening in this name, so just keep this on your radar as well. Radico Khaitan, alcohol name elections coming up. We've seen similar things in UBL and United Spirits. Moving really nicely. Base is very good. Let's see how this plays out. Kirloskar Brothers on the watch list from a long period of time, still consolidating. If it starts moving tomorrow, I think we could see this coming up. And there is a very interesting sector that I'm going to be talking about in the later half of the video, which is IT. So we'll come and talk about that. Next up is Centrum Electronics. Again, similar setup. There is overhead supply over here, so I am a little skeptical about this, but this is also great. Next up is Trent. Very good base. This stock has been running on steroids. Just look at what the stock has done in the entire 2023-2024 period, and again it is setting up for another base breakout. So let's see how this one plays out. Next up we've got is Tech Heavy Engineering. Again, a very similar structure. Now, I'm not really very big fan of this because there is supply on the top, so 50-50 over here. Thermax for a continuation play, I think this could also be wonderful. There was like a brokerage upgrade on this. ZFCV India, very interesting name. It's in the OEM space, coming back to this area of demand, reacting from this place. I think very interesting to watch out for. A trade idea in this could look something like this. Yes, there's going to be a wider stop. This is going to be a swing play, maybe for 3 to 4 months period. I think this could be an interesting name to watch out for, maybe for 36-37% gains. Tarsans I'll just remove from the list by mistake. I have it over here. Chennai Petrochemicals, again a very interesting name. You know, this is a supply which is concerning, but the entire structure looks pretty good. SIS, again similar structure, very good base, tightening happening, so I think this is going to be an interesting one. OCCL, Oriental, Carbon and Chemicals, again similar structure, high volume activity witnessed in the last 2 days. This entire pocket is something that can be played. Interesting one. Saregama, very interesting name from the entertainment media space. Just look at this base. This is just beautiful, right? I think this cannot be missed if at all it gives an entry. VST tillers and tractors, again Escorts, remember, is setting up exactly the same way as VST tillers. That means the entire tractor space is setting up in a similar way. Very good catalyst. You know, if the sector moves you know, together in a similar structural way, I think that's great. Another name from the auto space is Bharat Forge, created a nice little base after the bad earnings show, you know, in February 2024. Stock went down, but I think this is again basing up to kind of move higher. This is a small cap name, Concord Biotech, making a nice base, could definitely move higher, but an expensive name in terms of valuation, and the structure is not, you know, a risk-free one. I think it is risky due to the liquidity constraints. Dodla Dairy and Hudson Agro. I'll talk about both of them because both of them are from the dairy space. Dodla Dairy is setting up a nice base, and Hudson Agro coming and reacting right here from this area of demand. I think very interesting. We've seen milk prices in an uptrending trajectory, so I think it's going to be great to see on how this one performs. Next up is Kala Mandir, and again a very similar structure that you can see over here, creating a nice base. This is another IPO name, trading, I think currently almost equivalent to the same price from which it got issued. Not the most interesting name for me, but again the base is still nice. Next up is Sundaram Finance, and again nice little base for a continuation play. Lloyds Metals and Engineering, I think one of the most beautiful names that we have over here. What a nice base. That's a continuation, definitely going to work out. Hudson Agro, we've already we've discussed that. Jindal Worldwide, again a very nice play, very dried up volumes over here. I think this could set up for a nice little spike. The risk reward in this is very favorable. Maybe a stop over here and then targets above this high and above this liquidity over here. So I think this could be a good target for this one. So again, Jindal Worldwide, very good. Hindustan Petroleum making a nice base. Let's see how you know, petrochemical and petroleum stocks and OMCs you know, start performing. Serra Sanitary Ware, wonderful area for an entry. I mean, this is just, you know, absolutely fantastic. This is your entry, this is your stop, and could be your targets. Now this is a leader in the sanitary ware space, coming back all the way, liquidating this low. I think it's all the perfect ingredients for you to play this. One of my favorite names from this entire list is PVR Inox. Just look at the room it has. Fundamentally, everything is sorted for this company. The worst is over. I think this is a definite buy, and it's a bargain at these prices. Stock has been consolidating for a long period of time. If you look at the weekly chart, I think this is preparing for a rally which would only look like this. So I think the risk reward is very favorable. The sector is good. Saregama is also setting up. So I think everything is setting up a PVR Inox. Make sure that you are keeping this on your radar. Next up is Alicant Castalloy, again another you know, one from the OEM space. We saw ZFCV Engineering, another one from the OEM space. So I think it's good. Asian Paints, again setting up at a very important area of demand. Now there were multiple downgrades on Asian Paints due to margin erosion. A lot of brokers reported that, you know, Asian Paints will have, like, you know, a lot of margin cuts, and it will impact on their balance sheet. But with all that being said, I think that the stock is trading at very good prices right now, very very favorable risk reward. I think maybe with the 67 70 rupees stop loss, I think there is at least a 1 is to 3 4 5 trade. I think at least until here it can reach pretty fast. Next up is ATFL Agrotech Foods. Again, not ready yet, but could be on my radar. Patanjali Foods, another interesting FMCG name, setting up with a nice little base, liquidating the lows. JSW Energy, another one for a continuation play. Poonawalla FinCorp, again setting up with a very nice wide kind of a base. SBFC, we just spoke about Utkarsh Small Finance Bank, so these small finance banks are kind of setting up. I prefer Utkarsh over SBFC technically, because this is a problem for me. Next up is Britannia, another FMCG name trading at very important areas of demand. The risk reward again in Britannia is also pretty sorted. Another FNO name, I think a stop maybe 60 65 odd points could give you about 300 odd points if this trade works out. So the risk reward is very favorable. GMM Fodler, again from the industrial machinery space, we saw Thermax do well, and it was on our watch list. So I think this is going to be interesting. Volume dry up, setting up nicely in a tighter range. It's going to be interesting. Virtus Advertising, small cap name, but could be interesting to see on how this plays out. So again, I would I would just monitor this, not really trade this. Tata Technologies, another one from the Tata Group space. Now, Tata, the new index, the NSE is going to launch the Tata Group Index. Tata Technologies is definitely going to be a part of it. Once this index is created, some index funds will try to replicate that. Money will flow into Tata Technologies. Very high risk reward trade over here as well. Again, a disclaimer, I'm not an advisor, so please ensure that you are consulting your financial advisor before taking any investment decisions, but a very very good risk reward trade over here. Now, one sector that I spoke about in the starting of the video is IT sector is setting up really nicely. Now, TCS, Wipro, Coforge, Tech Mahindra, Infi, every single IT stock is at demand, and I think there could be some solid action from here. So I think Tata Consultancy Services, very very good risk reward in this one as well. Now, Infi had a bad quarter, bad earnings, but I think all of the worst part is over for for Infi and other IT companies. So I think I think it's a buy for me. IT is a buy. Same thing with Coforge. Reaching all the way over here. It's a growth stock, moves very violently. It has done this in the past and then just spiked up from the previous area of demand, and I'm expecting the same to happen in Coforge right now as well. Last but not the least, Rallis India. I think this is the one which is just going to explode out of nowhere. Volume dry up, insane earnings on 22nd April. Okay, so tomorrow it's the earnings for Rallis India. So I think there could be a double whammy, a catalyst again, and then this could spike up. So that's it from my side. Make sure that you're subscribing to the channel, dropping in a comment which one of these stocks is your favorite one, and make sure to hit the like button. It really helps me and my team to get motivated to keep posting this content to you. I wish you all the best for your trading week ahead. I'll see you in the next episode tomorrow. Thank you, bye bye, and take care.